Question number 2. What skill do you wish you were better at?
I wish I was better at
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of 5 with T5. We're being local business owners, community champions, and all-around amazing individuals on to learn about their stories, business in a quick and effective way. My name is Stephen Turnbull from T5 Insurance, your host, and I'm joined by our guest today, Mr. Stephen Karboski. If you're joining us for the first time, we're going to start the clock with 5 rapid-fire questions on our guest, and then we'll slow things down and get to know him. Mr. Karboski, you ready to rock?
I'm ready as I'm ever going to be.
Here we go. And again, like the last one, everybody, he has no idea what's coming for him. Here we go. Question number 1. If you were a superhero, what superpower would you have?
What superpower would I have?
You get to choose. What superpower would you like?
Fair. Okay, great. I like that. I would probably have only one, right? So I would say flight, so I could fly.
Oh,
yes.
I like that. Flight. Okay.
Yes, like Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Question number 2. What skill do you wish you were better at? Great question, huh?
What skill do I wish I was better at? I wish I was better at being able to say no off the bat.
Ooh, talk about that. We're a little ahead of schedule here. We got 30 seconds on this question. Talk about that.
I've worked on it a lot in my life. However, I am a guy that I don't like to say no because I feel like I'm letting people down. I feel like, right? You and I are very similar, right?
Yep.
Just give it to me. I can bear it on my shoulders. I could do this. I could do that. But, that's a really hard ability for me to say no. And I know that oftentimes I will say yes because I want to be there. I want to be helpful and I want to do it. And the hardest part about it is that sometimes you can't.
No.
And so I have a daughter, right? She's going to be 16 months old this month, the end of the month. And I told everybody, they're like, oh, will you do this? And I'm like, now when Reese is 1, well, Reese 1 has come and gone, right? So now my answer is when she's 2,
right?
Yep.
I like that answer a lot.
Right. You can't spread yourself too thin, right? So the ability to say no, I'm better, but I'm nowhere near.
It's a great answer on the spot. Question number 3. Music or podcast?
Both.
You have to pick one.
Well, I pick both.
If you had to listen to one or the other, you can only listen to podcasts for the rest of your life or only music. Which one are you doing?
For the rest of my life?
Rest of your life. Music.
Then music.
Okay. Getting a little more serious, specifically in the funeral director work that you do. Question number 4. What is your why in the funeral director business and in the funeral director work that you do? It takes a special person. You've helped our family. I've seen you firsthand. I've worked with you, which is something we can certainly get into. What is the why behind the funeral director work?
The why is being able to, at the end of it all, right? From soup to nuts, from the first phone call to going to the home, to the nursing home, to arrangements, to the funeral, whatever, at the end, the very end, for someone to say and reach out and shake your hand or give you a hug and say, thank you for everything you've done. Right? Almost that moment of, we couldn't have done this without you. Right? Like that moment of saying, you were so helpful in our life in this difficult time. And that carries throughout. And that's my whys, helping people through that difficult time. And, and it's not always seen, you know what I mean? It's not always seen in those moments, right? It could be a month, a year later, you see somebody out having a drink or dinner and they say, you were, thank you for everything you did. That's it. It's not dressing up. It's not the cars. It's, it's not anything but just helping people. Right. I always tell nurses and hospice nurses, they're like, we don't know. They always say, I don't know how you do this. And I said, I don't know how you do this, right? Like you see the pieces fall apart.
Sure.
We try to put them back together.
Yep.
Not always successful, right? That's grief, as we know, but, to me, it's just being that shoulder to lean on, that ear to listen to, and, just really trying to help people, right? Put it back together.
Fantastic answer. Last question. First thing that comes to mind when I ask you this question, what would you say today to 18-year-old Stephen Karboski?
Oh my gosh.
We're getting deep on the last one.
It's gonna be better than you think.
Why?
You know, when you're 18, you have no idea. I mean, I'm 33. I still have no idea. But there is, for lack of a better word, wisdom now in my own world to say it is going to be better. It's going to be okay. And I think we set ourselves up for almost failure, right? Like we set goals which are great and they're attainable, but they're not attainable, you know, next year. You know, like I wanna own this and I wanna be that and I wanna do this. When you're 18 as a male, your brain's not even developed till you're 25. Right. And it's like at 18, I'd be like, I would say it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I like
and
that.
I think that's a message for everybody. Like it's gonna be okay. Like, you know, you could change who you are in a heartbeat. I mean, I've done that, you've done that. You know, we have, right? And you know, I was on the phone with someone recently and I said, you know, to care what people think about you is a fool's errand because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No.
I've lived that. You've lived that.
Yep.
And we are better off being where we are now. And it's okay. And it's all going to be okay.
I love it.
It might be a week, it might be a month, it might be a year, but it's going to be okay. That's what I think I would say to my 18-year-old self.
That's fantastic. You survived the 5 questions. Congratulations, you made it. You survived the 5 questions. At no surprise, you went over a little bit on the minute of each one, but you did good. Did good. Now look, somebody watching this right now that has never met Steve Karboski. Let's take the last 8 minutes of this that we have. We got big hair energy. We have funeral director work. We've got, you know, just superhero. You want to fly, all of these things. What's Steve Karboski doing today? What's life look like? And you know, let's bring that kind of everything that we talked about in those introductory questions down to what's happening today.
Like in my day to day?
Sure. Yeah. What are you doing? What's up with Steve Karboski?
So I've tried to take a really big stance in taking care of myself, right? If anybody follows along on you know, Facebook when I do that, right? Like a big thing that I live is, you know, Jim Rohn, right? And it's so relevant today. And it's like, you have to start taking care of yourself. And when you start taking care of yourself, will you be better, right? Like stop focusing on giving everything to work, like focus on yourself. So like for me today and in the past couple months, I make time to go to the gym, you know, and I make time to make sure that I am spending time with my daughter and my family. Like that is important. And it's like, none of the noise matters, right? Like work will always be there, minus, you know, if I got a call right now, I had to go because someone passed away. That is what it is. But it's like the work will be there and the work can be done. But if you're not taking care of yourself, which that's a hard thing for me to do, and saying no to things that aren't important, then what are you filling your cup back up?
It's a balance.
People talk about that all the time. Correct. And
it's a very hard
balance.
Most
difficult thing. But I mean, you know, juggling between ministry brands, between funeral work, between trying to be involved, you know, in the community in a limited capacity because I have a 1.5-year-old. Even though I'd love to do those things, you know, the day to day is just, you know, living like Dale Carnegie says, living in day-tight compartments. Like let's tackle today. Let's be done with today, and let's worry about tomorrow.
You know what's interesting about? I think that coincides with this the conversation that you're saying right now is like you have to be okay with the understanding of the different seasons of life. Yeah. And I think about our friendship over the last almost 10 years of the different seasons of life that we've both personally been in together and separate and all of those different things. And like to your point, love to do the community stuff. I also have a 1.5-year-old. You know, like you have to be okay with these are the seasons of life that that I'm in right now, and the sacrifices, and to one of your questions or your answers of being able to say no, you know, when you need to, because of what it might affect with your personal life, your business, whatever that is. I think when you start looking at it from, this is the season of life we're in. I mean, I'll put myself in the hot seat. Mikhail and I talk all the time, like the season of life we're in right now is just grinding and growing our business, growing T5, but also Mikhail is growing a fantastic career in the healthcare industry. We don't have any children. This is the time. This is the time that we're doing that. And then when that next season comes, it'll look different. But what are your thoughts around that?
There's no time like the present. I mean, I talk to, yeah, I mean, everybody who knows me really knows that I'm on the phone. I talk to everybody all the time. And it's like, I know this to be certain. Like, I know what my name is, that I'm here in the flesh. Like, I don't want to be working this hard when I'm 55.
Mm.
And I think that is a tall order to prescribe, but the time is now, right? The time is now to invest in yourself, to invest in your family, to invest in, your fortune of whatever that might be, for lack of a better word. But, if you don't say it and you don't put it out there, you'll never be able to get to it. Right. Like Dan Pena says, you're never going to reach, if you want to make $100 million, you're never going to make $100 million. Right. If you want your goals to be X, you're going to get closer. You're just going to coast to it.
Sure.
So I feel like to the people out there, like, I want to retire at $1 million. You're never going to get to $1 million because you're going to get close. It's like, you should say, I want to retire at 10. I want to retire at 100 million, whatever that might be in their retirement. If Kevin Conway was watching this, I hope, Kevin, we get to 100 million. That'd be great. Okay. So does Kevin, right?
He would like it too. Yeah, he'd like it too.
In my pocket. The girls are going to college for free. Shameless plug for Carissa McLean, by the way. But it's like, the time is now. And just like you said, there are different seasonalities, and, if, there will be a time where it's like, I won't be picking up Reese because she's going to be, 18 years old. And it's like, 18 years from now will be whatever. I hope I'll be able to pick her up. But it's like, these are the times that matter. And being able to be in those moments is very important. It's more important than where I was before.
Real quick, as we wrap this up, 30 seconds each, with you dropped it there real quick with the funeral work and the ministry brands. What's going on with that stuff? What's that look like for you?
So ministry brands is, I tell everybody it's remote work, right? But, full-time job is, scale and referral funeral home, taking care of people. David's been great, great mentor, great, to our family, right? So we're just trying to build to be, the best known funeral home. So if you don't know who we are, come check us out, right? scalereferral.com. And, feel free to, message me, whatever that is. And then ministry brands is just to, when things are quiet, right? To keep, going from there. So if you are a church in need of church management software, let me know. Perfect. Right. So it's just the different hats that we wear to make it happen, to do what we have to do, to make ends meet, which is great. It's okay.
And where can everybody follow you along to hear some more, maybe some positive messages in the morning? What's a good place to follow along with the journey of Stephen Karboski?
Well, I guess just on my Facebook, Stevie Carbo, I guess, if you want to follow along, or at Big Hair Energy. I think it's big_hair energy on Facebook, because those are equal moments on that. And, it's just a lot of fun. And it's, life is very, very, very short, as we all know. And you go out and have fun. That's what it's all about.
Amen to that. Stephen, thank you for joining us today. We are at our time limit. We appreciate you joining us. Everybody, make sure to follow the Big Hair Energy. You see his BHE shirt he's got on right there on Instagram, Facebook, some great positive messages. That's a wrap for today's episode of 5T5. Hope you enjoyed this engaging conversation with Mr. Stephen Karboski. Till next time, remember, the power of connection and learning from one another is what makes our community thrive. Most importantly, remember to make an impact in someone's life today, even if that's your own. Stephen Turnbull here with T5 Insurance. We'll see you next week. Take care.